Hello YouTube, Drone Dude here, and today I'm here to talk about this, the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus. Now I'm not going to do any of that unboxing stuff. I'm pretty sure, between you and me, you know how to open a box and take what you need out of it. So, this is after you have put the blades on. Very simple, you can easily look up another tutorial. So let's go ahead and talk about what it is. So it's a quadcopter, which means it's got 4 blades, like a helicopter, but 4 times that. It's got a HD camera on here. It's got integrated GPS. So what that means is you don't have to worry about the drone drifting away from you while you are flying it. It'll automatically hold its position in one place. So let's go and start out by talking about the styling. It's very nice. It's all white. It's the only color they make it. They do provide stickers. These are put on here, but you can take them off and change the color. And these help you know which way is front and which way is back, as well as the lights on the bottom, which I'll show you later when I'm flying it. So front, this just helps with orientation. So you know when these are placed in the front, when you're looking at the drone, that this is the front of the quadcopter. And that's very important, because if you turn it backwards, as you know with any drone and orientation, you turn the stick left and you're going to go to the right. And you don't want to do that. Or I mean you will, but not when you are trying to keep it in front of you. So let's talk a little bit about the GPS. So the GPS is in the drone, and it keeps the drone from drifting away, like I explained earlier. It tells you your position, which means it will return to home. So once it acquires satellites, and you can see that on your iPod or whatever device you are using, it will tell you that you have satellites acquired, and wherever you acquire those satellites that you need, it'll automatically return to that position. So it'll raise up to 60 feet, it'll fly back, and from what I've seen when I'm flying it, it flies back very quickly to the last position where it's acquired satellites and land. And this is a fantastic feature. I've used this multiple times. When I get out of signal, I've gotten behind trees and flown it over them. It's lost connection and it's flown right back to me, which is pretty much a lifesaver when it comes to a quadcopter, that you want to be able to fly long distances away without worry. So let's go ahead and talk about the battery. Alright, what I have here is the battery that comes with the Phantom. It is a 11.1 volt, it's a 5200 milliamp battery, and it gives you a good 20 minutes of actual run time, and 25 minutes total, but it's good for 20 minutes. Then you want to probably take it out, and you don't want to run it down. You'll be crashing your drone. So as you can see here, it's got a button right here and then 4 bars, and those bars will show you its current charge. So right now it's fully charged right here, and that's also, that button is what you use to turn on the Phantom. So it's a really nifty battery. My recommendation is they sell a Phantom with an extra battery, and that's the one I would get, because each of these batteries costs $170 on the store, and you're only paying an extra 60 or 70 bucks if you buy it with the Phantom. So definitely worth the price there. Alright, now let's talk about the remote right here. So you'll see on the remote it's got auto centering sticks here, and you've probably seen that in any other video that you've watched. They talk about how that's different and how some people may or may not like it. I say I like it a lot. It's beautiful because you can just let go and it stays right where it's supposed to go with the GPS. So that's what I love about this remote a whole lot. versus any other regular remote. Then up here we have the Wi-Fi extender, and this will allow you to extend the Wi-Fi a good 1,500 feet before you lose connection. And that's turned on with this little switch right here. And you can see we have power with the green light. I don't know how well you can see that. You always want the Wi-Fi extender facing towards the drone. If you turn the remote around and it's facing you, you will lose connection with the drone. Not remote connection, but visual connection on your iPhone with the drone. So that is a bit of a downside, but it's not that much of a problem. Just face the drone. And then this is your clip for your iPhone, and I'll get that out and show you that later when I'm flying it. So in terms of these switches up here, the right switch right here, this controls several things. As you know, the calibration you've probably seen a video of, but I'll give you that a demonstration in a little bit. But in top position, you're in GPS mode. And then in middle position, you're in attitude mode, which is off of GPS, and it allows you to get a nice smooth shot if you just let go of the control rather than it auto centering. And then in bottom position, I have programmed it, and you can do this with the software, to return to home. And that is just a nice feature, just in case it's out of sight. You may still have connection with it, but you just want to be sure that you get it back to where you took off. So that's what that switch is good for. And then on this side, this switch is completely programmable, and you have to access this through the NASA M software on your computer. And this is another 3-position switch, so we got top, middle, and bottom position. And those do various things. You can look at that. Right now, the top position is just standard mode, and then these positions are various return to area modes by pulling back on this right stick here. You can always look up videos on that too, but yeah, that's more complicated, and you can work on that. So obviously this is the power off and on switch right here, and I have an FCC mode, which extends the range a good extra 200-300 meters, and you'll hear 2 beeps when you turn that on. So just so you know, it's an FCC mode, and that can be changed by, there's a screw right here, and you turn that screw and it will put it in FCC mode. If they're selling them in America, where I got this, it was already in FCC mode when I got it, so you probably won't have to worry too much about that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the battery in it, and I'll give it a flight test. Alright guys, so I have my Phantom here, and one thing you need to know about putting a battery in any RC vehicle is typically it's good to turn the remote on before you even put the battery in, and especially before you power the device up. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the remote here. You hear the 2 beeps. Now we're going to power on the range extender. So we know that we got that working with the green, and I'm going to grab my iPod right here. And one thing I found is I have an HTC One X smartphone, and I've heard tons of complaints about reviews on the DJI Vision app, and that is very true with my smartphone. It lags, it's awful on my smartphone, but on my iPod 5 it works flawlessly. So that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and take this clip right here, put my iPod in there. It's nice because it works for any device really, and I'll go ahead and turn on the Phantom. You have to have the Phantom on to turn the Wi-Fi on. So what I do to kind of preserve my camera here is, if you look here, I have a lens cap on, and as well as a gimbal guard. So this gimbal guard kind of slides on here, and so we can talk about the gimbal. The gimbal is a 3-axis gimbal, so it's got 3 little brushless motors in it that keep the video very smooth. Right now the video obviously isn't on because the iPod's not on, and this is just free to kind of fall about. but once you turn it on, you'll watch the camera just shoot up, and looks like it's stabilized, and it is. So we're gonna go ahead and put the battery in here. So the battery kind of goes in like a AR rifle magazine. It's pretty sweet, actually. You can take it in there and just pop it in until you hear that click. You know it's in there, it's not coming out. Now what you do to power it up is kind of weird, but you take this button right here and you click it, and you see that you have full charge. So you click the battery and then you hold the battery down, and you hear that sound once it's got powered up. And it'll blink on the lights a little bit. And now what that means, and this is not covered in the manual, which surprises me, is that the Vision has a couple satellites, but it does not have enough satellites to keep it in GPS hold mode. So you need to wait until that just turns flashing green, and that will happen once I kind of set this down and get my iPod set up. So I'll get that set up and we'll be right back to you. Alright guys, so now that we have the Phantom set up and I got my iPod set up, we're going to talk a little bit of how to connect the camera to your iPod. So we have our iPod here. You can barely see it. That's full brightness, so sorry. So we're going to go here, and you can already see I've already connected with it. Sometimes it auto connects, sometimes it doesn't, but you know how to connect to Wi-Fi if you have an iPod, so that's how you do that. Now we're going to go to the applications, so I'm going to click on the DJI app, and we're going to pop up with that. And we have all our options here. So we're going to go ahead and go to camera, and it always takes a minute to load up. It's usually black screen for a minute. And then the gimbal is saying it has an error, and that is because the gimbal is in the grass, so it doesn't have much movement in the grass, and it doesn't like that. So that'll go off once we start it up, but you can see that there is grass in the background of the camera. So in terms of camera settings, you hit this little button right here that's settings. You go there and you have a whole bunch of settings you can scroll through over here. The one I had trouble finding, which was very necessary for some of the filming I was doing, was the wide angle versus small angle. It comes in wide angle and you get quite a bit of fisheye, but if you want a smaller angle, you simply go to 1080p, which is automatically on. And, well, got the gimbal thing in the way. Well, we can discuss this once we get flying. So, it appears we have enough satellites. It says 6 satellites right there, and you have to have at least 6 satellites for this drone to work. 7 or 8 usually is pretty good. It tells you your Wi-Fi extender's battery life and your drone's battery life right now, so we got 96% battery. So we're going to hit the settings thing. This will show you where it is. So it's right at home right now, it hasn't taken off. So we're going to go ahead and take it off and get this thing working. So to arm it, you can, what you have to do is you have to take your 2 fingers and push them together, and it goes into idle. And it doesn't seem loud in idle. It's not very intimidating. It's actually cutting the grass a little bit right now. But as soon as you hit that power, it becomes really loud. So we'll show you what that looks like right now. So as you can see, the gimbal, I don't know how well you can see it, I'll move a little bit closer here. The gimbal is sort of facing downward, and you can just adjust the pitch with your iPod, and now it's facing back up at us. So now you have to control it. I'm controlling it backwards right now, and that's why the lights and the stripes are important. So to rotate it, you take this right here, the left one, and you rotate. So that's very simple, and it's nice because it stays at the same altitude if you have GPS. Right now I have 7 GPS satellites, so we're doing good. Now to tilt forward and back and sideways, this is your tilt. So you watch it go back and forth, as well as backwards and forwards with that stick right there. So I'll go ahead and stand behind it and give you a few shots. I'll also show you what the gimbal does. ahead and move the gimbal back and forth so you can see the stable camera there. So you see it doesn't want to move based on what the Phantom is doing. Same for backwards and forwards. It stays in the same place. So virtually no actual kind of FPV style movement on your camera, which is very nice. So I'm not touching the controls right now, as you can see, and it's just holding there in position. And there's a little bit of wind, so this is very nice. And it stays within about a 6-foot range of where you have it positioned. And you can see at the bottom of the screen here all your altitude and speed. I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. And that's very helpful and very, very useful when telling how high it is and how far away it is from you. So I'll go ahead and fly it around here just to kind of show you the speed of it. I've gotten it up with a tailwind up to 37 miles an hour. It's supposedly rated for 30-mile-an-hour winds, but it can go a lot faster than 30 miles an hour. So I'll go ahead and bring it out, and then I'll just fly it right over you. So I don't know how you could see that, but this thing goes. So this is the most maneuverable and easiest to fly drone I have, but I would highly recommend flying a different drone that's a beginner drone first, because you don't want to spend the amount of money that you're going to spend on this drone and then wreck it immediately. So that would kind of suck. So I would recommend something like one of those Helimaxes or the Blade 180 QX. That's a beautiful machine. Or they just came out with I think it's a Blade 200 or 230 or something, and that thing's beautiful as well. So in terms of gaining altitude, this thing shoots up really quickly. So I'll show you an example of that here. So you can see it down at the bottom, and I'm just gonna shoot it up, and it just flies right up there. In terms of descent rate though, it takes a while to descend. So this is my maximum descent rate right now, which doesn't look too slow, but when you're up at 500 feet, it's pretty slow. This thing creates quite a bit of wind off of it. So if I were to go, it's actually quite nice on a summer day. If I go stand under it, it's going to feel great. So as you can see, it's just really easy and fun. It's really fun to fly versus anything else. If you know how to fly a quadcopter, then you don't have to be worried. So we're going to go ahead and show you the return to home. So I'm going to fly it out over here a little bit and bring it up quite a bit. And I'm gonna bring it up maybe 100 feet, and it'll stay at 100 feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to tilt the camera to get on it there. I don't know if you can see that, yeah. And so I'm gonna hit the return to home switch, which is right here on the remote. I'm just gonna tap that back. And you can't see it from here, but there is yellow lights on the Phantom now. And what it's gonna do, now it's automatically flying back to where it last took off. And it's right there. And now it's gonna begin to descend very slowly. And now I don't want it to land because landing this thing by itself is not very reliable, and it will sometimes fall over, but it does automatically shut off, which can be really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and take back over now. So I have full control of it now, and I can just keep on flying it away.
And then attitude mode, I'll show you. So if I'm in GPS mode and I let go, it's going to auto center. The drone auto centers and tries to maintain its position. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it into attitude mode, which is one flick down. And now it doesn't have GPS. So if I move this over, it's just going to keep on cruising that way until I put the opposite input in. That makes it really nice for really smooth shots. So now I'm back in GPS mode, and so it's just hovering there, which is really nice. So the lights mean that the reason it's flashing green on the bottom is because it is holding GPS position. So when it's flashing yellow or beeping yellow, then it is not holding GPS position. So anyway, show you another little maneuverability. I'm going to fly it around myself. So now we can talk about landing, which is a little bit more difficult. And I actually crashed it. The first time you land this, you do not want to land this on concrete, because if you mess up, then your blades are getting torn up. So I learned that lesson the hard way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reduce the throttle slowly until it gets close to the ground. And then you want level ground to do this, because it becomes unstable once you kind of land it. It might fall over. So you want to get it as close to the ground as possible. Go ahead and pan down. You can see it there. And you're going to want to pull the throttle all the way down. And that's nothing. You don't want to move anything else except for maybe the tilt to keep it stable in one place. And then you're going to want to move the two sticks inward once you have pulled the throttle all the way down. You do not want to pull the two sticks inward before that, or else you will end up spinning the Phantom and crashing it. So we're going to pull full down. We're going to go into idle right there, and we're just going to pull those together and cut it off. And so that's how you land the Phantom.
For the bones I broke, I had to make
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the application. So what we have here is the camera settings for the application, and so we're going to talk a little bit about this. So this distance that's showing right here is inaccurate because that is where we last flew the Phantom, which was 221 feet away. And then obviously the speed and altitude are just going to be kind of zero. The altitude is based on where you took off. So if you're take your Phantom and don't turn it off, and where you took off is higher than where you are right now, your altitude may show negative altitude, and that's only because you should probably turn your Phantom off and then turn it back on, acquire the satellites, and you should be good to go.
So these little buttons right here tilt your camera up and down, so I can move that and that'll move the Phantom's camera, as you can see, and that's a full 90-degree tilt. This button up here is a gyro, so if I tilt the camera, you click that button, you tilt the iPod itself and it'll move the camera. I don't find that very useful, but it's kind of a cool feature. Right here, this will show you your original distance from home. So there's the home spot and there's where we are, and then as we can see we have a huge range on here. So that allows you to see that. And then over here is all our important information. We have our battery life of our drone, the satellites, Wi-Fi is connected, and the range extender has 80% battery. Now, one mistake I made one time was I walked to the other side of the neighborhood, which is like a mile and a half away, and I forgot to put the SD card in the drone because I was going to do some filming. So that is clearly shown. The SD card is right there. You can see that on there, and I'll show you where that is on the Phantom. In terms of settings, so obviously you click the camera button to take a picture, and you click the video button to take a video. You could not push the video button and take a picture while you're recording a video, which is kind of a downside, but it's what you got to deal with. So right here is the settings button, and we come up with a whole bunch of settings. We got your quality, and so this is what I was talking about earlier, where you could see the wide angle. So I'm in short angle right now, but I can easily change it to wide angle. And then you can shoot it in all kinds of different frames, 720 at 60 frames, 1080p HD at 25 frames, 30 frames, and then 1080p or 1080i at 60 frames, which is theoretically, I've heard, is slow motion. I haven't tried it out yet. And then we can shoot it in JPEG. We can shoot it in RAW if we want to, as well as we can adjust the white balance and a whole bunch of different other options here, which are very useful if you're using it for professional photography or what have you. So that's the basics about the screen. Let's go into the application a little bit. So on our album right here, this you can only see the photos that you've taken from the Phantom while the Phantom is on. So I am connected to the Phantom with Wi-Fi right now, and I can see this video that I just took right here, and I can watch it. And if I want to download it onto my iPod, very simply just click this button up here, and it automatically begin to download. Videos take longer, but that'll do that. And I'm going to cancel just so I can show you the rest. If you want to select multiples, you can click this button and you can hit that and whatever one you want to download onto your iPod, which is very nice, and you can see what you have on your iPod that you've taken with it. And then if you go to news, that just shows you all the latest things about the Phantom. I don't have connection to my Wi-Fi right now, but the Phantom's Wi-Fi, so you can't really access anything on the Phantom's Wi-Fi, but that's just various information. And then the settings, just various things, like you can hide the toolbar automatically, and then what you do, you can start recording if the connection breaks, and you see what happens to your Phantom after you've lost connection. And then you can change it to FPV mode, and that will freeze up your camera so you get a more kind of stuck looking shot like the Phantom 2 Vision, not with the plus. And then all kinds of other wonderful things, and then you have to have an account. So that kind of sums up the iPod, and I'll give you a little bit more about the Phantom, and then we'll call it a review. Hey, so this update just came out today, and it's for setting waypoints for your Phantom 2 Vision or Vision Plus. So I figured I might as well give you a quick video. I wasn't going to include it in this review, but now I am. So after you've updated your application, that's all you need to do on your iPod or what have you. You're going to go to your settings right here, and you're going to find down here ground station, and what that does is that allows you to set waypoints for your Phantom to fly to. And so I guess no one's really done a review of it yet, hopefully. I just found out today on YouTube on the DJI's website. So we're going to go ahead and go to the camera, and I'm just going to make sure I have enough satellites set up. So we got 10 satellites, 98% power, and we are good to go, and our camera's showing up there. We got some grass in the frame, nice. So we're gonna go ahead and power up on our Phantom here and take off. So the way you access, oh, it's wanting to drift back. The way you access this mode is you're on your standard screen right here, and you swipe over, and it will take you to the waypoint mode. And so you'll see this green ring around here, right here, and that shows you the maximum radius that you can fly the drone away from yourself and still have connection. So that's very useful. So how do you set a waypoint? Well, so first of all, I'm just gonna kind of go over the issues with this new update. The only major issue I have found is right here is the overlay. So you can have a standard, a satellite view, or a hybrid view, and the satellite view and the hybrid view will not load for me. So only the standard street view will load, which is kind of annoying. So if I want to go over somebody's house, I wouldn't know exactly where to go. But it's still very functional with the roads if you know where you're going. So, whoops. So, to set a waypoint here, I'm just going to click where I want it to go. So I'm going to just fly kind of 655 feet over there. It tells me right there. And then let's say I want to fly back over here, which is another 724 feet away, which is nice. It tells you the distance, and then it automatically sets a waypoint back to home. And so what we're going to do to activate this is we're going to go to Done, and it's going to ask you if that's the altitude you want to go to. And so those are very low for where we're at, 98 feet. So we're going to go ahead and set those. Whoops, I accidentally set a different waypoint. To delete the waypoint, you simply click on it and hit the little trash can at the top. To adjust the altitude, you click on the waypoint and adjust the altitude to however many feet you want it. So I'm just going to keep them around 150 feet, 170 feet. And those are the only two waypoints. Now I can click Done, and I can click Go. And now we will look at the Phantom here. Oh, shit. Oh my God. Alright. So now you can see on our map, the plane right there is the Phantom, and it's flying to its waypoint that I set it for. So that's waypoint number 1. And it's going to go, and it's going to stop there. And then what I found is the camera view here is very laggy. So I think one way to correct this is go out of the camera and then go back into the camera. And we can see what the Phantom is doing live right now. So it is flying to its, still flying to its waypoint. And once it gets to its waypoint, it's going to stop, like you can see now. So it's stopped there, and now it's going to begin to rotate, and it's going to fly back to its next waypoint. And now you can set up to 16 waypoints, so this can be really handy for not having the work effort of just doing, flying it yourself. You could just have it set. Now what I just learned was that before you set the waypoint, you want to have altitude, so it'll climb up, because I almost hit a tree. So make sure it's above the altitude. It's not going to raise up to what the altitude you want is. You're going to have to do that yourself, so make sure you do that. So now it's flying to the second waypoint, and we can still see this by swiping over, and it's flying right to the second one. The map isn't loading up, but it always takes a minute too. So you zoom out here. There we go, so it's starting to load up there. Flying to the second waypoint. And we're at medium speed. We can do low speed, high speed. I find high speed is the best, but this works too. So you can see it rotating there. And hopefully now, hopefully now it'll return back to us. So we can watch it flying back towards us. Go back to the map. And we should be able to see it in a minute here. I can hear it. It's over this way. Way up there. Excuse me. We can still see the live view of it coming back to us. It's up there. I have visual, I don't know if you do. And so what it does once it get, oh yeah, and by any time in this flight, what you can do is you can hit this pause button right here on the screen. I don't know if you see that, and it'll stop flying and it'll hold its position. But now it'll return to home automatically, and right now it's directly above us, and it'll stop. I don't know if I have it in shot. There we go, there it is. And it's just gonna hover there until we put an input in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and to take back over with your remote, what you have to do is you have to take the S1 switch here, flick it down, flick it back up. And now you have full control over the Phantom. Excuse me. And so the video is still laggy. We'll just go out of the camera, go back into the camera. And now we have established full connection again. I have full range of motion. And we'll just bring the Phantom back down. So that's been my waypoint review. And thanks for watching. Here's the next film. So right here we have that Phantom. And just to kind of give you a good look at the stabilization of the camera, you can see if we tilt that, it stays steady no matter what pitch we're at, which is the biggest factor in taking that smooth video that you want. In terms of where the SD card is located, it is located right here on the camera device here. And all you got to do is push your SD card in and then push it to take it out, and you can take it out, and it's a micro SD card. It takes any micro SD card, no matter how big, and you can just put it right in your computer. In terms of pricing for the Phantom, you're not in luck, and this is why I say you want to learn on something less expensive. The basic Phantom, which doesn't have a camera or anything, starts at I believe they have lowered it to $600 or $700. You can easily get it at that at anywhere now. That's the, well, actually the Phantom 1 is probably around $400, $400 or $500. The Phantom 2, which doesn't have a camera, is around $500-$600. And then the Phantom 2 Vision, which is this, but it's got an unstabilized camera on it, is around, it's actually $1,000. And this right here is $1,300. And then if you want the extra battery with it, it is an extra $70 for that. And it also comes with an extra set of blades, which is really nice. So now we're going to go about how to disconnect your Phantom. So we're going to go ahead and take the battery, and you see the lights there. We only got 1.5% left, and we're going to click that button, and all going to light up right there, and you're just going to hold it down until that goes all the way down right there. And we're going to take this, and now this is another thing I've found is the battery is really hard to get out. You got to struggle with it. But that's good because it means it's not going to fall out of your Phantom in flight. So we're going to take this, and it starts to kind of pop out there, and just pull it all the way out like that, and you got your battery out. And then once you've done that, my iPod says lost connection. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to take the Wi-Fi extender, turn that off right there, turn the remote off, and you are finished. So guys, as any RC device goes, you will need to charge your Phantom. And so this is the charger that came with it. Now when I got my Phantom, I looked in the box and I could not find the US plug. And then I realized I was being stupid because the US plug was actually already plugged into the box here. So we're just going to go ahead and take our plug. I'm sure you know how to do that. Plug it into the wall. I'm going to take this right here. And this is our plugging end, so we're going to go ahead and open this up. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but it's got a little flip up on it right here. And that just flips open. You got two prongs there. And it seems like kind of cheap, but actually it feels really nice just in terms of plugging the battery in. So you're going to take that, you're going to plug that right in there, and you'll see your charge level. So we've already got about 25%, we're going to 50%. So that's what that shows you, and you see that all the way up, and then once everything turns off, then you're good to go. So to summarize here, reliability, fantastic, haven't had a single problem with the drone. Customer service, we haven't covered here.
the call waiting is a long time. I waited there for a good hour on the call line there, hold. But the guy on the other end was very enthusiastic. He was excited that I had bought the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, and that made me feel good about you know, what I had bought here. So and then in terms of just fun, it's just really fun to fly and great for professional video. So go ahead and pick yourself a Phantom 2 Vision Plus up.